Hey, so I wanted to share more of my thoughts about moving forward with this NAR settlement for buyers, sellers, and agents. Not much should change if we can control it. So here's my prediction. I mentioned before that I think corporate greed is at the foundation of this, and I still stand by that. The only ones who I can see really benefiting from this settlement are institutional investors, wealthy home buyers, and big companies like Zillow. By eliminating much competition, institutional and wealthy buyers will have a huge advantage. And this settlement paves the way for companies like Zillow to create a tech platform to help guide buyers completely through a transaction, taking the place of a human and representation. So keep an eye on Zillow. What I hope also happens is that lenders step up and allow more flexibility in financing commissions and or helping cover the cost of commissions, because if not, they will potentially see a loss of business as well. So first, the DOJ actually might pursue this further. They say the settlement doesn't go far enough in their opinion because they want to prohibit sellers from paying a buyer broker commission completely. Let me say that again. The DOJ wants to prohibit a seller from being able to compensate a buyer's broker completely. But why? Why would the DOJ want to completely eliminate the ability for a seller to pay a buyer's broker even if the seller decides they want to do so? Because they are trying to eliminate buyer representation. In my opinion, they're trying to create more hurdles and make it more expensive for your average middle-class home buyer to purchase a home, which absolutely will affect sellers too. They say this is to save homeowners money when selling their home, but let's not get this twisted. This will not save anyone money if we allow this to change the way we go about a real estate transaction. The only thing that will happen is that corporate ownership will skyrocket, which already tripled in 1 year from 2021 to 2022. Sellers are going to have their homes on the market much longer. They're going to have more price reductions. They're going to get caught up in litigation and conflict of interest suits because buyers didn't have representation. And they're going to sell for less than they could have sold for. And for buyers, they're going to be limited in the houses that they can look at and buy, will pay much more to purchase a home since they may have to pay for their own representation, and or will get caught up in litigation and conflict of interest suits because they didn't have someone looking out for their best interests representing them in that transaction. Side note, many people think realtors are overpaid. If you think this, then I don't think you've had a good realtor, or you don't truly understand the possible negative consequences and implications of a sale going wrong. And I'm talking lawsuits. Your realtor is handling the transaction of most likely your greatest financial asset. And I'm not sure about you, but I would want to make sure they're well paid to do so. Because like most other trades, the better you are, the more you're worth. And just because a transaction is quick, easy, and pain-free, that doesn't mean they're not worth it. It was probably quick and easy because they are good at what they do. If you took your car to a mechanic and you had two options, one highly experienced mechanic that can have you in and out in 20 minutes but charges a little more, or a brand new mechanic that's going to take 2 to 3 days to find and then fix the problem but is much cheaper, which would you choose and or trust more? I personally would trust the experienced mechanic more, and I would know he's worth more because of his experience, and that experience is why it won't take as long, and I can trust the work that he does more. So why would you want a realtor to make less because they actually made the process easy for you? A realtor is paid for their skill, not their time. Sometimes you have to think of the fact that you're also paying for peace of mind, and no one ever said that peace of mind was cheap. This is how commission works again, despite how you think it works, because some agents explain it wrong when presenting it. A seller pays a listing broker 5, 6, 7% or whatever they decide to charge. Then the listing broker decides to use some of that money for marketing, including offering a buyer or cooperating broker compensation, or not, out of that total commission. And we are unable to now, but we previously advertised that cooperating broker compensation in the MLS in the listing. This is because this will get the most amount of interest and attention on your listing, because now you have thousands of brokers trying to sell your listing instead of just one. By not advertising the compensation or not offering a buyer's broker compensation at all, you're now limiting your buyer pool to buyers that can afford to and want to pay for their own representation, which is not many. You won't be selling to many unrepresented buyers either, because that means the listing agent, like it could be me, will have to do twice as much work for no additional compensation, and I'm not going to do that. That's why it's a marketing expense to the seller, but to a buyer's agent or a buyer, it's a buyer's agent's commission. Sellers shouldn't think of it as paying a buyer's broker's fee. So how do homes sell for the highest price possible and even over listing price? It's when there's so much interest and so many buyers for the property that it becomes a bidding war to win the house. Do you think you'll be selling for top dollar or over asking price anymore if we significantly reduce the amount of buyers for your property? You will also instantly eliminate any VA buyers as well because they aren't even allowed to pay a buyer's broker fee. What a way to thank them for their service. And this will not only become way more costly for your average home buyers, but will start taking money out of sellers' pockets too. You gotta spend money to make money, like marketing for anything. It's like staging, professional photos and videos. Yes, you have to pay for it out of pocket, but the benefits far outweigh the cost. Do you want your realtor to spend money on marketing for your home? Yes? Then compensate them to do so. Just like I pay for photos, videos, print, and other marketing, if you want me to get the listing in front of thousands more agents and buyers, offering a buyer's broker compensation is one of the most effective ways to do that. So for sellers, use this to your advantage, but not how they want you to. Will some sellers refuse to pay a buyer's broker fee? Yes. But that's an opportunity for you to have an advantage when selling your home. If you and your neighbor have a very similar house, and your neighbor isn't offering a buyer's broker fee with their listing, and you are, which house is going to sell faster? Which listing will get more attention and activity? Which house will have more interested buyers? Which house will sell for more money? It's not a trick question, yours will. For buyers, I will always say that owning is the way to go because at the very least, equity. But don't go broke buying a house. If you have the money for representation, then pay for it. Otherwise, submit offers that include your buyer's agent's fee in it or a concession for closing costs that will be allocated to a buyer's broker's fee. Or ask the seller or listing broker if they offer compensation for a buyer's broker and or only look at homes that are willing to offer buyer broker compensation. For agents, make sure you clearly articulate your value and why you are charging the commission that you charge and why whatever you're going to do is in the best interest of the client and customer.